welcome to RANsquawk's e-morning briefing for Friday the 11th of September 2009. Taking a quick run through then of the overnight news, firstly starting in Asia where the Nikkei did finish down 0.7% today, somewhat weighed by the revision that was to the Q2 final reading in annualized GDP in Japan, revised to 2.3%, that was from a previous of 3.7%. Elsewhere though, some pretty positive data coming out of China, the likes of China industrial production still remaining pretty high, 8.1%, increasing from the previous 7.5%, and also new yuan loans in August came in month on month at 410.4 billion. That was above the expected 320 and previous at around 355 billion. The Shanghai Composite that finished up opposite to the Nikkei. Shanghai Composite was up around 2.2% at the close, which gave a weekly gain of around 4.5% for the main Chinese share index. Taking a look elsewhere in terms of major news flow, for anyone who wasn't around late yesterday evening, Treasury's Geithner spoke at a town hall meeting live with CNBC yesterday. Geithner said the government is moving to withdraw some of its support for financial markets and cautioned that the recovery will have more than usual ups and downs. Elsewhere, Fed's Lockhart says the Fed may have to decide to raise rates amid mixed economic signals. Fed has flexibility not to buy or approve MBS and anticipates mortgage buying program to be discussed during next FOMC. It also says feasible to buy more long-term securities if conditions require. It says Fed is confident it has the tools to exit, and the Fed likely will face a rate hike decision before a job market comes back, as according to Lockhart. And also, Federal Reserve Vice Chairman Donald Cohn spoke overnight, said US Central Bank was developing tools to move away from its extremely loose monetary policy, but such an exit would not happen anytime soon. Elsewhere, in terms of the final of the three US auctions, we had the $12 billion 30-year note auction, which again was pretty positive. The bids to cover at 2.92, a lot higher than the average, and the previous and indirects also pretty solid in terms of foreign demand at 46.5%. So pretty much putting a good bid into T-notes, which did finish up the session just around 31 ticks or so at the pit close, and we are seeing gilt futures at the moment outperforming a little bit at the moment, playing catch up with that uptick in T-notes yesterday. Britain's pretty flat for the time being. In terms of European headlines, ECB's Novotny says there is a broad consensus on the risk of premature exit. Said that time has not come to exit from unconventional measures. And just taking a look elsewhere in terms of other news in equities, coming out of the FTSE for Standard Chartered, the company has dropped out as a bidder and is contested by ING Swiss and Asian private banking business, according to sources in the Journal. For Tesco, the company and Fortis have concluded their discussions to form a new partnership providing motor and household insurance. And as well, worth keeping an eye on the likes of Commerzbank. They're off to a pretty solid start as well, outperforming their banking peers in Europe as they did yesterday, up as much as 7% today in early trade. Did see them rise yesterday on the back of latest news that they plan to pay back around €5 billion worth of government debt that they secured from the Sofin fund. So again, looking like things are on a recovery path for the likes of some of the larger German banks. Again, Commerzbank, slight performance, one of the best performers in Europe so far today. So looking at the calendar, volumes at the moment pretty light, not particularly unusual for a Friday morning. And in terms of Eurozone data, they think now at 9 o'clock will be the Italian industrial production. That'll be followed by UK PPI numbers at 9:30. 1:30 from the US will be import price index for the month of August, alongside Canadian new housing price index. And then the focus will turn to the September prelim Michigan report. That'll be just before 3 o'clock in London, so just before 9 in Chicago. That'll be alongside wholesale inventories from the US. Speaker-wise this afternoon, it's going to be Fed's Evans and Fed's Pianalto, and then Treasury's Geithner would speak just after the market close at around 9:30 this evening.